All right, welcome to another live. All right, another live session here. Gonna pull up the thing on YouTube. Pretty tired. Been a long day. It's gonna have a slow start. Hopefully, it's not too late where people are not coming in. Dude, it's Louis FNAF. What's up? Louis, I guess, if it's okay, I'll say Louis. Short, I'm back home in Pennsylvania. Gonna wait for people to come by. It's gonna have a slow start, I guess. Should have done it earlier, like at 9 o'clock, but I was a little bit busy doing stuff. Hopefully it picks up. It's pretty slow, but it'll be all right. Millie. You're the only person who said my name right. Doesn't seem that hard. Louis FNAF. Dark web. Cable. Black web. Stanley, Black, and Decker. SWK stock. CTs. Not a lot of things I know for them. Like I have my friends who are I know for CTIs. That's for language. They go to school for like 9 months, and you can get kicked out of the program if you can't pass the test. I forgot exactly what my other friend is. I think it's like a CTR. He works in the ship for combat systems or ops. I forgot exactly which department, operations department or combat systems. He's the RPPO over there. Seems like he has a pretty chill job. His seashore rotation is only 3 years. So, he came on board with me on my ship. And now he's going to somewhere else. And, after he came out of A school and C school, he picked up, and he automatically gets to 3rd class. So he's leaving the command as a 2nd class. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, there's not a lot of things that I know about them. Baby Pro, what's up? I'm going to boot camp on Wednesday. MX, welcome back. Jay Marcelino. Jay Marcelino. Good luck in boot camp. Best of luck. Enjoy it. Try to be RPOC and AROC and any type of leadership positions, Master at Arms. In my opinion, that's what you should try to do. Is it really that hard to switch jobs in the Navy? Yeah, it's pretty difficult. It's not like you go in, you fill out some paperwork, and you say, "Hey, I want to be this now." That's not how it works. And it also depends on the ship, right? So, for example, right, my ship, you know, I'm a logistics specialist, right? Let's say I want to be an MC, mass communication specialist. They're not going to let me transfer out unless, you know, I finish out my contract. So I have a 5-year contract, right? On board my ship, I have to do 4 years and 8 months. They're going to let me transfer, let me switch rates after that period of time, right? Why? Because they need LSs on my ship, right? You know, depending on, let's say the job that you have, you know, for example, I recently met a HT, right? Hydro technician, something like that. The field that he was in, right? There was too many HTs, and he cross-rated into LS. So he was able to do that. And we're always willing to accept more LSs, you know, because we are shorthanded. But yeah, it's not as easy as your recruiters are going to say. It's like, oh yeah, you know, after 2 years you can fill out some paperwork and you'll be in a different rate. That's not how it works, right? So for example, let's say I'm an LS right now, right? And let's say, you know what, I want to be an IT, right? ITs go to A school for like, I don't know, 6 to 9 months. I forgot exactly what, and they go to C school also. It's not like after 2 years of my contract, right? And then I go to A school for like 2 months and I say, hey, I want to transfer to IT. They're not going to send me to school for like 9 months, right? I only have a 5-year contract. They're wasting their money here, right? So, you know, after you serve your, how you should look at it is after you serve your initial period of commitment within a certain rate, then you might be possible afterwards to cross rate to a different rating, you know. But I'm sure some people have gotten around with it and still made it. But yeah. Have you ever been to base in Pensacola? Nope. I've been to Florida for Disney World, but not the base. Okay, let's see. Theo Robinson says, hey, I want to join the Navy for medical, but I'm blind in one eye. Is it still possible for me to join? I have a bad vision in the other two. Theo, you could try, right? Go to talk to your recruiter, go to MEPS, and you know they'll basically decide if they want to let you in or not. Yeah, and that's really it. You know, there's not much I could say, but you know, at the end of the day, it's people at the MEPS and you know unforeseen forces that really determine that. In school, do you learn about school stuff or stuff about your job, Navy type stuff? A lot of stuff. Pissed. In school, do you learn about school stuff or stuff about your job in the Navy's type stuff? Yes. When you go to A school, you're going to learn your job and the Navy. Mostly your job, not so much the Navy. Bucklau, welcome back. Should I get a Mustang as an E1? You know, Bucklau, I'm not going to tell you what you should do, what you shouldn't do. I'm not going to, you know, I personally would not get a vehicle. But if that's where your heart is, you know, by all means, why not? If you are a Navy Reserve, can you switch branches? You could try. Vincent, what's up? I'll get to your question in a minute. Let me go from top to bottom. Where are you stationed right now? I am stationed right now on board USS Abraham Lincoln. It's in Virginia. So Vincent, will I develop PTSD or OCD just from being on a ship? It depends, right? You know, PTSD, you know, traumatic stress disorders, you know, something, whatever. Normally, I wouldn't think so, right? You know, are there some people that see, you know, some crazy stuff while you're on the ship? Yeah, you know. I know some people that up in the flight deck, on a carrier, right? There's a flight deck where planes and stops and everything. I know some people who witnessed a person's leg almost getting chopped off, right? And then later on, that person's leg was never able to fully. Basically, they had to take the leg away, right? It got chopped off, basically. So people will get, that's going to stick with them for the rest of their life. They've seen somebody with their leg cut off, right? That's one of the factors for PTSD, right? There are going to be instances in the ship, in the Navy, that, if you are lucky enough, right, you might never have to experience it. But if you are, unlucky or in certain situations, you are going to have to deal with, some sort of one way or another, right? There's people who, on the USS Cole attack, where there was a ship, it was DDG, and then, terrorists went in and blew up on the side of the ship. People have PTSD from that, right? People, still revert back to and think about that time when they were in that ship and they have to save that ship. And you're going to hear about it too when you are in the Navy, when you go to boot camp, and throughout your boot camp career, you're going to hear about USS Cole. And I've been able to meet the person who has actually been on USS Cole and helped, and knew exactly what happened, and they can recall step by step what they had to do during that time. And even he said, yes, there are people with PTSD for that from that. So yes, could you develop it from the ship? Yes. Is it likely? No, because I think some people, most people have a pretty relaxed Navy career, but there are some people who are not that fortunate. When you first start, is it better to stay in the States or overseas? Jay Marcelino, I would say go overseas first, as much as you can. You can't control that, right? Some people are given that option if they're very lucky, but for the most part, you don't have control of where you can go, right? Like I said, some people get very lucky, but for the most part, you just go where the Navy tells you to go. So, if you have a choice, make sure you go overseas and see places as much as you can. Everyone has their preferences, bro. Do doctors have to share a room on the ship with others? Like sleeping-wise? Yes. Most common sanitation issues in the Navy. Donnie, it's like toilets overflow, right? People take a lot of dumps and and flush down in the toilet stuff they shouldn't be flushing down, and it overflows, and then sometimes the ship leans, tilts, and then the stuff on the toilet, in the toilet that's been overflown, drops down, and then it gets everywhere on the deck, on the floor, and that's one of the biggest sanitation issues. It gets crazy in there sometimes. Would you get a Purple Heart for an injury like that on the flight deck? No. Purple Heart, I think it's for when you actually save someone. When you do something like very honorable, or something like that. Like if you save I don't know, 20 people, I think you can. I mean, that's an example, right? Like Forrest Gump, I think he got a Purple Heart in that movie. Let me Google it. Did Forrest Gump get a Purple Heart? Yes, I think so. That scene where Forrest Gump, he carries a bunch of people in and out of the places in that jungle, and he saves I don't know, a crap ton of people. That's something Purple Heart worthy. Frank, what's up? I'm leaving next Tuesday. How are the bathrooms in boot camp? It's pretty clean. You don't have to really worry about it. Boot camp, it's clean. The actual Navy, it's not that clean. Do you know anyone in Rota, Spain? Yeah, I think one of my friends is in Rota, Spain, going there after C school. I think he just picked up first class too. What countries have you traveled to, Luke? With the Navy, none. For my own personal vacation, I went to Korea, and that's it. And first year in the Navy, I went to Korea to see my family. Second year, I went to Disney World. This year, I'm going to try to go to Brazil to see my girlfriend. So all my personal travels, not with the Navy, like I said, luck of the draw for me. I got a place where the ship is not going anywhere. So, yeah. Are you doing 20 years? No, Jay, I am not doing 20 years. Is there a lot of relationship drama on the submarine? Rohar, there's a lot of. Right now, the Navy's trying to incorporate some females into submarines, but for the most part, it's just only males in the submarine. So, in terms of drama, I would say I don't know. But there are submarines with some females, and there have been instances where it may not have been the best idea to do certain stuff. I don't know if I can tell you exactly what. It's still public information, but there is some problems there sometimes where males are very interested in females when you're in the submarine. Nothing like crazy, but yeah, I don't know if I could say it. Theo Robbins, how was your first day ever on a ship? Not sure if you made a video. I'm a new sub. No problem, Theo. I don't think I made a video, even though I have 500 videos. I probably mentioned it here or there sometimes, but whatever. I can say it. My first time on the ship. When I first got to the ship, my ship was in what's called the shipyards. So my ship was being repaired. Our aircraft carrier, every half, it's supposed to last 50 years, right? And towards the middle, the 25-year mark, it goes under construction. Everything gets taken out, and brand new stuff gets put in, right? And so my first impression of the ship is this is a total dump because it was filthy. It hasn't been cleaned and kept up for like the last 4 or 5 years. So yeah, it's come a long way. Don't get me wrong, but yeah. I think I got a Medal of Honor actually, but cool. Yeah, I think so too. It's one of those two. Actually, I know somebody who got a Purple Heart because he has it on his truck. He was I think he was with the Marines, and yeah, he was with the Marines, and then he did something, and he got like injured, and he got PTSD. So there was a lot of stuff that happened to him. But then he got Purple Heart. I don't know exactly what he did, but he got it. Tell what happened to the chief. Yes, that's what I was talking about, Frank. Her leg was severed, basically. There was a guy. So there was a chief, and then there was another guy, and then I was talking to the guy that was exactly on the other side of the chief, and yeah, the guy was mentioning exactly how bad it was, and yeah, it was not a good thing. What do IT do in the ship, and is it hard or easy? I don't know exactly. I know I work with some ITs whenever I have like computer issues. I'll email this IT to say like, hey, I'm having trouble with this system because in the Navy for supply, right, there's supply systems, right? There's multiple different supply systems. When you order stuff or when people order stuff for me to look at, and everything like financially and all that, what the material is, how much it's going to cost. Is it a consumable item? Is it a repairable item? There's a lot of different data that comes along with this, and sometimes that breaks down, and for whatever reason it doesn't work. then I'll email the ITs and say, hey, you know, can you fix this? And they'll come in and they'll fix it. So as far as I know, that's one of the things that the ITs do. They, you know, go into the computer, figure out what's wrong with the database, and then figure it out and fix it. Do you think it's worth it to pay for a college and get a bachelor's, then join the then join the Navy, or just get an education while you are in the Navy? In my opinion, leet hacks mate. Leet. I would personally, if I was to go back in time and tell my younger self, hey, you know, and this is the exact situation, right? And I'll say, hey, go to school, get your degree, and then come to the Navy, and go that route as an officer. That's what I would tell my younger self if I could go back in time. Because there's a big difference, right? In the Navy, like, you know, right now I work like 60 to 80 hours a week as enlisted, right? And I get paid $1,900 a month. But the officers who work, you know, just the same amount or maybe a little bit more hours, they get paid double, right? Brand new officers. So in terms of how much you get paid, you know, it's the benefits there. You know, does Tinder work on a ship? You don't have internet connection on the ship, so no. You could probably find people from the ship that are on Tinder if you have access to internet. But yeah. Is on-base housing dormitory like, or is it individualized homes like a neighborhood? Both. Earn my respect. In my base, Norfolk Naval Base, the largest base in the world, whatever, $1,900 a month. That's what I meant. You knew that. You knew what I meant. That's all that matters, right? Sorry if my energy's down or if my thinking is a little bit off. I'm kind of tired, but it's okay. So, in the base, there is both housing and also dormitory, right? There's individual housing where, you know, you go in, there's you share the living room, right? But you have your own separate rooms and you share the kitchen. That's basically your own housing. There's dormitory where you are in a room, right? You don't have your own room, but you share a room with like one or two other people, maybe sometimes three. So in a room, there could be 4 people, you know, double bunks in both sides of the room. So they have both. Like, is there privacy in boot camp bathroom? When you poop, yeah. When you pee, not so much. When you shower, not so much. That's the only privacy you could get. What's your pay grade? I am currently E3, and I will be E4 on Tuesday. Bear with me, guys. I'm reading the questions from top to bottom, so it might take a while to get to your questions. It's very active right now. There are lots of videos online of actually Navy boot camp, and it seems like they don't yell at you that much. More of a raised voice, correct? I would agree, yes. I also noticed there isn't cursing in the videos. Do they curse? Some recruit division commanders curse, right? Some, like, who are very into it, you know, curse. Some don't. My RDCs didn't really curse that much, but some do. You know, I think it's one of those where they try to keep professional. That's kind of how the Navy wants it to be, very professional. But, you know, some curse, some don't. So I've seen some. Like, I've seen this one recruit division commander, like, curse somebody out, like, to no ends. But yeah, it just depends on who you get. What is the worst that can happen in boot camp? Get set back a week or two, right? The worst, Calvin, the worst thing that could happen when you go to boot camp, you send a letter out telling your parents when you're going to graduate, right? Uh, Say like, hey, mom and dad, this is when I graduate boot camp, right? And then, some people come into boot camp and they don't know how to swim. And they sent a letter out, and their family purchased a plane ticket, during that time for 2 months later, right, when your graduation date is. And then, people who can't swim, right, are trying to learn how to swim and they can't pass the swim test. Now it's coming close to the graduation date, and if you can't pass the swim test, now you're going to be held back a week. And then, your family already purchased a plane ticket to come see you for graduation, but you're not graduating. Now they can't come, right? Or, they can probably switch it up, but now they're going to have to pay, a lot more for the plane ticket than they already should have. So that's one of the worst things that can happen, really. Or you could die. Some people die. Nothing like from the training. Some people you know, drank like 10 Monster energy drinks or whatever, and their heart fell out, whatever. But yeah. What happens if you fail boot camp? Like, you can't really fail. Like, if you can't, let's say you can only do like 5 push-ups when you get to boot camp. And by after 2 months, you can do like 30 push-ups, but you have to do 40 push-ups. Then you just get held back until you are able to do that amount of push-ups. Yeah, by the time you go to boot camp, they've invested so much in you already. To the Navy, it's almost a waste to send you back home, right? Because you got to think about this. They send you to MEPS, right? You first talk to your recruiter, right? Theoretically, that costs money, right? Anywhere else, counseling costs money, right? Your recruiters or your counselors, and then they drive you to MEPS, and then you go through the MEPS processing. You check for colorblind, eye testing, hearing testing, blood, urine, and you go strip naked, and there's doctors checking out your whole body to see if you have any defects or whatnot. That all costs money, and then you get orders, and then you pick out your job, and the Navy slots you in for this, and by the time you leave for boot camp, right, and then you go to the airport, you go to a hotel first. They give you free food for you to eat, and then you stay there overnight, and then from there you fly out to Illinois, Chicago for Great Lakes, Illinois, for boot camp. Right, by this point they've invested a crap ton of money, right? I don't know. Let's say $10,000 by this time. They're not gonna just say like, oh, he can't do push-ups, we're just gonna kick him out, because then the Navy just wasted $10,000. But yeah, so it's very hard to fail boot camp. Are there some people? Yes, but as long as you have the determination, you can push through and pass. But yes, there like, as Earned My Respect says, you can get sent back, right? Like, for example, like if you cannot pass a swim test for the life of you, like it's been like 3 months and you can't pass a swim test, like at that point, the Navy's gonna say, hey, I'm gonna cut your losses and just get out of here. At A school, do I need to worry about people taking my stuff? Always, even in boot camp, even in A school, and even when you get out to the Navy, you always have to worry about people taking your stuff. Just because you're in the Navy doesn't mean people forget where they came from, right? People grew up in, like, let's say, rough neighborhoods, and it was a thing for them to steal crap. They're still gonna steal crap when they get to boot camp and when they get to A school and when they get to the actual Navy. The military doesn't change who you are as a person, right? There are some people that they let the military change, and they become a better person. But there are people that come into the military to take advantage of it, right? And these people who come in to take advantage of it, take advantage of everybody else by stealing stuff. Diversity in the Navy. Also, do you have haters? Of course I have haters. I get stupid YouTube comments all the time saying like, I wish you get shot and killed during combat. Yeah, I I get some pretty interesting YouTube comments. Diversity in the Navy, it's pretty diverse. You know, this month is Asian American Heritage Month. Like every month it's something. Like, you know, there's African American Heritage Month, there's Hispanic American Heritage Month. Um, every month it's always something. So yeah, the Navy is pretty diverse, Donnie. Sent back, you can't get in or you have to wait. Is there internet on the submarine? There, I don't know. I don't know exactly how that works. I'm sure they have some type of internet connection because, you know, they're able to still communicate somehow. But definitely not for personal use. At the end of the day, it's not going to be for personal use. I know for that. I know that for sure. Sent back a few weeks, so you have to wait to graduate. Do you ever get those orders when the part number is wrong? So you order the wrong part, or you order the part, replace it, and the equipment is still broken. Poor troubleshooting. Of course, Joe. I deal with that almost like on every other basis because I'm in S6, aviation supply, and aviation supply deals with all type of repairable assets, which I don't know if you know, but yeah, I'm sure you do. I deal with all repairable assets on the ship. So reactor, operations, combat systems, air department, supply department, AIMD, you know, every department has equipment that needs to be repaired, and it goes through me. I screen it. I screen the paperwork, make sure the paperwork's good, and then, you know, I accept the part, and then we S6 sends up the part to wherever it's supposed to get repaired, and then we order a brand new replacement part, or that part that was sent out comes back, and then we give it back. 60-hour work week, is that standard? Seems very rigorous. When you are out at sea, right, bare minimum you work 12 hours a day. If you're lucky, you work 12 hours a day. You know, sometimes there's training, there's, you know, drills and stuff like that, so that's about 15 hours a day. Multiply that by, like, I don't know, like at least 5 days a week, and then, you know, the other 2 days on the weekend you'll work only 12 hours. So yeah, you know, when you are out at sea 60 to 80 hours a week, that's standard when you are out at sea. Now, when you are not out at sea and you're just kind of at land and you're trying to, you know, settle down, depending on, right, sometimes they have like different evolutions going on. Like, for example, in a week that's supposed to be relaxing, they suddenly pull out saying like, hey, we're getting like 5,000 parts from somewhere else onto our ship. You know, obviously then you're going to be working long hours because you have to get that part. You know, it's not like it's not as easy as you think, right? The part comes in to the pier, there's a ship, and then you get craned. The part gets craned onto the ship, and that takes a long process. And then, you know, you get the part and you organize it. You know, it goes to this division, 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 and then you sort it. It goes to this storeroom, it goes to this storeroom, it goes to this storeroom, and then, you know, now the grand finale, you actually have to carry it down. And let's say there's like 10,000 parts and you only have like 30 people, you know, you got to put in the work. So yeah. Oh man, bear with me, guys. There's a lot of questions. I'm going from top to bottom, like I said before, so it might take a while for me to get to your questions. So let me just breeze through it here. How's Norfolk? It's pretty all right. I don't mind it. When do you get your own room? When you become E5? I can, as an E3 or E1, you can apply to have your own room. I personally don't prefer it because I don't want to deal with the transportation process. So yeah, and I get to save a lot of money. He gets basic allowance for housing and food. I think you know, basic allowance for housing. I get $7.25 for free for living on the ship. Like if I was to apply for housing, yes, I can. you know, the Navy pays me like $1,500 or whatever, and then, you know, they take it back out. But yeah. Shameless plug here, guys. One thing that I definitely gonna do a right hook here. One thing that I ask of you guys, I have another YouTube channel, right? And my goal is for that YouTube channel to get to 1,000 subscribers. So this YouTube channel right here, I needed to get to 1,000 subscribers because I have a video right here that used to make me, right, a lot of money, but YouTube changed their rules and said, hey, we're going to have a bare minimum of 1,000 subscribers. And so I lost monetization on that channel. So I would appreciate it, and it would mean a lot to me if you guys could go over there, subscribe to that channel, and then, you know, comment here saying you subscribed it. Right? I don't ask for anything. Just go in there, subscribe. It's simple. There's a lot of other people, other YouTubers who ask for money, but not me. The link is right there. Yoon Kim Project. Wait, no privacy in bootcamp bathroom. Jay, next up, only when you poop. You have privacy when you poop. But when you shower and pee, not so much. I've been watching your videos before bootcamp. I'm proud to say that your mindset has led me to fast advancement made E4 early this month. Been in the Navy 10 months. Thank you. Joe Mallon. Congratulations. We are E4 brothers. And I'm glad to hear that the stuff that I said worked. And yeah. I hear A school is like college. What are your opinion and any tips? In a way, I guess you could say A school is like college. The only difference is, like, when I was in A school, everyone musters up into a certain area, and then the school's like, you know, I don't know, like 1,000 feet away, and then everyone musters up, and then you are put in what's called a fleet, and fleet has like 100 people, and then you march, right? I was the commanding officer of my fleet, so I was basically the leader of my fleet. And then you basically give the order of when to turn, when to stop, you know, to speed up, to slow down. So that was a pretty cool experience. So besides the military aspect, would I say A school is like college? Yeah, I would say so, because you can still have your honor graduate and, you know, the top graduate person and stuff like that. Boyd, what do I have planned for the other YouTube channel? Somewhere in the future, along the way, I'm sure I'll use it. But for now, you know, I need that channel because it makes me $100 a month. But with the new YouTube rule, it's not making me $100 a month. Do you have to memorize the general orders in order? Alicia, technically, yeah, because a recruiter, not a recruiter, an RDC could say like, hey, recruit, give me all the general orders in order. He could say that, and then, you know, if you get wrong, he'll punish you. But for the most part, he'll just be like, hey, what's your 5th general order? Or like, what's your 6th general order? Right? What are some ways to protect in stuff? Make sure your stuff is always locked. Make sure you pick a rack, or you pick where to sleep in a place where you trust the people, right? And the people are looking out for each other. That's the biggest thing, man. Is it hard or easy to be in the Navy and go to college? It's pretty hard. It's not that easy. It's not as easy as people say. Because you got to think, right? You know, when I'm out at sea, I work 60, 80 hours a week. that's basically like what, 16, 7, no, it's like, crazy. It's crazy amount of hours. Okay. Do some people make it work? Yes. Like some people get lucky, right, and go to a shore command for their first 3 years. Like I know this one guy, he no college background, came into the Navy, got a shore command for the first 3 years, and he loaded up his first 3 years with college. And then by the time he got out after 5 years, he got out with a master's, right? Master's degree, right? Not even just a bachelor's degree. He got out with a master's degree, right? So it's possible. It's definitely possible. But is it likely? No, it's going to be very difficult. Tuition assistance, right, has a limit. I think it's like 16 college credits a year. The thing that they say, oh, you can go to college for free using tuition assistance. Yes. But depending on the ship that you go to, they have different rules, right? Some of the rules might be like after you get to the ship, you work at your job for 1 year, then you can use tuition assistance. So let's say you have a 4-year contract and you are in A school for 9 months, right? And then you go to C school for a month, and that's about, 10 months right there. And you go to boot camp for 2 months. So that's a year right there, right? And then, the rule is for that ship, right? Each ship is different, but for that particular ship, it's after a year you can start using tuition assistance, or after you get your designated surface pin or information dominance warfare pin, or air warfare pin, then you can go to school. So second year down. So now you have two years left to use tuition assistance, but it's only 16 college credits, right? So if it's only 16 college credits, right? Some people are able to get around with it because they, add on FAFSA into it. They add on, they can pay for their own college credits, college courses, like by going to a community college, and they can stack up a lot of more college credits. But there's a limit to this thing. So it's going, depending on where you go, Calvin, it's going to be hard or easy. So yeah. Like there's people that I know that are making it work. And this guy, I think by the time he gets down, he has a 5-year contract on the same ship that I'm in. He'll have an associate's and maybe like 4 extra classes on top of that. So he'll be close to his degree, but he won't be able to. I don't think he'll be able to get his degree while he's in the Navy. Definitely not. He only has like a year and a half left. Yeah, he's not gonna. He's very like full focused on school too. Like he's taking like 3-4 classes, like 2 to 3 classes, I mean, and he's like full focus on school, and he's been doing that for 5 years. Learn your general orders before boot camp. I got beat so many times because I didn't. Carlos. Pretty sure I said that, Carlos. If you listen to my videos, Carlos. No privacy in boot camp when it comes to showers. Agree. What happens if I fail A school? You get sent to another. For example, let's say you are going to A school to be an IT or something, right? And then you fail like CTI, right? For example, learning different language, interpreting. And then you fail CTI A school. Then they're going to try to send you to like a culinary specialist A school. And then that's, fairly easy. So you'll come in as a CS. Or let's say you fail altogether. You fail everything. They're just going to send you to send you as undesignated to a ship, and then from there you can strike a rate, or if you choose not to strike a rate, then you just get out as undesignated. What happens? Yeah, I read that. Thanks for answering my questions. What do you think about becoming a chaplain? Seriously considering this after graduating college. Thanks again. Chaplain, my experiences with the chaplain, I think they have a pretty relaxing job. I don't know. I'm just judging from outside in. They run the library, they run the the religious ministry program stuff. The one thing that I don't like about the chaplain program is, for example, when you pray, right? When you pray, their prayers are based on military things. That's one thing that I don't like. What do I mean? For example, let's say I was that this let's say today I had a drill, right? Drill for general quarters and I was fighting fires, right? So the prayers are always based on what you did during the day. It's based on something within the military. So the prayers will be like the chaplains will pray, and they'll say like, you know, dear Creator, thank you for this day, and please guide us and lead us as we fight fires, and let us become brave and courageous to stand up to this challenge and stuff like that. So it's like what I don't like about the chaplain program is that it's so military foundationally based, right? It's not based on that religion. I think it's something they have to do. They don't really have a choice. It almost seems like. But yeah, that's what I don't like. But overall, some chaplains are very impactful. I know some chaplains that have created very big impacts on people. So yeah. Okay. For Navy Reserves, is there any waiver for someone who is on prescription med, i.e., inflammation, cholesterol, BP? That's something MEPS would decide. Personally, for me, I don't know. All right. At sea, I got out of work at 1600s. Yeah, some like when you are at shore, or I don't know if you were actually out at sea, because like at least for where my ship is, it's a 12-hour workday. Um, but when your ship is at port, somewhere, then yeah, it'll be like 16-hour workday or whatever. But depends. In boot camp, we bring our own glasses, or we have to take the military glasses. Jay Marcelino, like this is a military prescribed glasses. Like you can't have like your own personal like gold rims glasses when you are in boot camp, right? And after boot camp, depending on, yeah, you can have your own thing. Like you can't have blue glasses, right? Even if it's like navy blue glasses. Like in boot camp, you wear what they give you. Everybody's got to be in unison. Everybody's got to be the same. You can't be wearing like silver glasses. After the boot camp, when you're in A school in the fleet, yeah. But when you're in boot camp, no. What age did you know you wanted to join the Navy? I was 21. I left for boot camp June 2nd, and I turned 22 June 3rd. So. Okay. What do you do when you feel unmotivated? Marcelino, when I feel unmotivated, I always remember why I am doing the things that I'm doing, why I'm in the military. Because I gotta tell you, right, in my honest opinion, being in the ship, being in the Navy, it takes a lot on you. Like it's very crappy. My military experience has been very, very crappy. And I've been miserable at times. And there are people that I know that I've worked along with that have gotten depression, that have, for psychological reasons, they couldn't stay there any longer. The military does take a lot of mental strain on you, right? And for me, I've been able to be mentally strong enough to keep pushing through and just keep reminding myself I only have 2 more years of this and then I'm done, right? The way that I look at the military, especially the Navy for me, right? Some people get lucky and go to comfortable places and they enjoy the Navy and say, oh man, this is great. But there are people like me where I get the short end of the stick, where you get to places where it's not that great and it's not that exciting and it's, it's like a dump. And where was I going with this? Yeah, I always just remind myself like I have 2 more years of this, and after while I'm in the military, let me just make the best of it. Let me figure out what I need to do, the person that I want to become, and how can I financially set myself up for after the military. I'm just trying to get the best of it as much as I can. So the way I motivate myself is always thinking about the future, thinking ahead, thinking how I'm using the military to get to where I want to be. I hope I explained that well. But Marcelino, if you do decide to join the Navy, man, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. What are some tips to go through A school? Make sure you're a good student. You know, make sure you're a good student. That's at the end of the day, uh, that's bottom line, right? Make sure you are a good student. Figure out what type of studying tactic works for you, right? So I took my third class exam 3 times. The first 2 times I had note cards, right? And I really tried. It didn't work for me. But the third time I figured out what works for me, right? I used an app called Quizlet now. And Quizlet is so interactive for me. I've been able to retain it much easier. So I figured out my study pattern, and now I became a third class. So my best advice is before you go to A school, make sure you understand your study pattern, what works for you in terms of studying. Yeah. Thomas Martin, it's been a while. Hit that thumbs up button for sure. Gonna sub, man. Thank you for the sub, Theo. Thank you for the sub, Thomas. Vincent, thank you for the sub. What's the name of the channel again? It's right there. What do you have planned for the other channel? I mentioned that. Is there racism in the Navy, or is there a lot? Not so much racism. There's no like discrimination. Not that I've experienced or I've seen. Like I have never felt discriminated in the Navy. I have never felt like discriminated against because I'm Asian. But are there favoritisms? Yeah, there's definitely favoritisms. Some people could say, "Oh, that's a form of racism." For example, if a Hispanic chain of command prefers and likes the Hispanic people, right? That could be in a way favoritism, but turned into racism. But you know, favoritism exists, okay? But racism I have never experienced and I have not seen. So yeah, you don't really have to worry about that, in my opinion. Yoon, it's been a long time. Walk in success. It has been a long time. After I enlisted in the Navy, I was disqualified. I was going to be a CS2. I just enlisted in the Army and I leave in 2 weeks. Awesome. That's you're not giving up. That's what it's all about. What if I join the Navy, then leave and never come back? Will they look for me? Of course, Luke. You're gonna go to jail. It's like I'm in Pennsylvania right now. I'm at home. If I just decide like, hey, I'm not screw it. I'm not going back to my ship. They're gonna come looking for me. There's gonna be a warrant out for my arrest. What happens after A school? You either go to C school or you either go to your ship or your short command. It's very strange to hear about the prayers, chaplains pray. Seems like a politically correct handcuffing. I'll think about that some more. Thanks. I mean, earn my respect. Don't get me wrong. If like religion is your thing, like you can definitely make a lot of impact religiously among people, right? But I'm just telling you, I think, I don't know for sure what the program is, but I think these chaplains have to follow some type of guidelines. Like they can't, it's not like pastors where they can do their own thing and create their own little programs for their, like there are specific guidelines that they have to follow, I think. All are clear frames out of. There are some people with clear frames, but you can't just have that when you're in boot camp. That's a no-no. Was Navy A school hard? And also, what is your specialty? I am logistics specialist, and my A school was not that hard. What are the highest E classes? I don't know exactly what you mean, Theo. Do you make friends in the Navy, and when should you? You make friends in the Navy. Navy buddies. Yeah. How much taxes are taken out of your checks every 1st and 15th as an E4? I should know this, but a walk in success. Okay. Let's look at Navy enlisted pay chart. All right, so I'm looking at this Navy enlisted pay chart right here, right? So years of service over 3. I mean, as of right now, I am over 2. So I'm technically seaman. You know, by next Tuesday, I'll be E4 right here. But as of right now, I'm an E3. And so base pay for E3, I get $2,004, right? But that's not accurate, by the way. You know, President Trump raised the pay for the military, so you get a little bit more. And also, I'm at Sea Command, so I get like extra $100 a month or something. But after taxes, I get paid $1,009 or $1,800. So that's right about roughly $350 taxes. So yeah. I don't know exactly in percentage what that is, but I would have to imagine it's almost similar to normal taxes, which is right about 24%. So yeah. That's, I think, what you can expect. Oh, that's where I am. I am from Philly low. These smaller lots. What is C school? And I sub. You got it. If you keep failing PFA in boot camp, will they send you home? What may be the reason for the Navy to send you home for boot camp? If you can't pass your PFA. I'm going in as an LS as well. Thomas Martin. How is LS? I want to get deployed and travel. Can you give advice on that? Like any advice tips to get onto a ship? You know, as an LS, you could get sent anywhere, which is great. But you know, unfortunately for me, I haven't been lucky enough to be able to travel, right? It's all a matter of luck, right? Some people are more luckier than others. People who are lucky that want to travel, get to a ship that travels a lot. You know, usually DDGs and smaller ships get to travel and go to many different places. So that's an opportunity there. But for me, I've been in one place for 3 years. Like there's some LSs that I know that have spent their whole 5 years not leaving Virginia, right? It's all a matter of luck. So yeah, how far does E classes go up? Meaning like E 6. What does it go up to? It goes up to 789. It goes up to E9. Whenever you have a medical or dental need, are the military doctors and dentists the only option, or can you go to any doctor or dentist? Boyd. Um, the military hires civilians, right? And they in form of a contract. So they have civilian doctors, right? These aren't like military trained. Some are military trained. Um, and then if you don't, and then they work in a military facility, right? But let's say you choose not to use that military facility because you don't trust them or whatever for the whatever case may be. Then if you can, you have a choice to use a military approved facility, right? But preferably come to a military hospital, or else you're gonna pay out of pocket, out of your pocket, not the military's pocket, right? Because some hospitals are like all about, profit and stuff. So like you can't just walk into any hospital and say like, military's got me, right? Because then what the military would, theoretically take $1,000 to do, the civilian hospital that you decided to go could charge you like $10,000 or whatever. John Lee, thank you, man, for your kind words. You got it. Are you on Philly? There's a Navy lot not far from where I am. I'm not in the Navy, like in the Navy place in Philadelphia. I'm in Montgomeryville. Took the Greyhound, went to Jefferson Station. From there, went to Lansdale, where I'm at. Thanks for the live video chat. You got it, Calvin. Thanks for the sub in the other channel. What's E9 and the benefits? E9 is a Master Chief, Petty Officer of the Navy. There is really no other. There's no really like specific benefits. Like you get the same benefits as I would, right? But you get treated with preference because you're an E9. Like for example, let's say I'm in line, and I'm in line, and then E9's in line. They're gonna take care of the E9 first, right? That's one thing. But you just get a lot of retirement money. Maybe there are some benefits here and there, but I mean, and also let's say after you retire, after 30 years, after being a Master Chief, then you are preferred to be hired in like military facilities, and then you get paid a butt ton of money, Do married sailors deploy also? Yeah, they get deployed just like any other sailors. Just because you have a wife and child doesn't mean you won't get deployed. The Navy compensates you for separation pay and stuff, but that's about it. Nothing too special. Why didn't you go CTI instead of LS? Because, John, I didn't know what CTIs were. Had I known, if there was somebody like me telling people, hey, I think you should be mastering a language more than, understanding, this logistic stuff. If I had a mentor, I would have gone CTI instead. I think for those of you who are watching, in my personal opinion, I think you guys should go CTI or some type of language rate, right? So, because that's your job. If I went CTI and let's say I decided to learn Russian, because now then I'll be trilingual. Like I'll be able to speak Russian, Korean, and then English. Like speaking Russian, like I don't have to have any knowledge of language, right? I go to school, they teach me how to speak Russian, and then my whole job for the next 5-6 years or whatever is translating Russian documents and speaking Russian, and I'll be able to master Russian. So like I'll be pretty good. Okay. Can I go home for a few days after boot camp or after A school? Alicia, as far as I know, you can go home after A school. Thanks again, brother. You got it, Martin. Okay. Ooh, they give you a specific date to go on a boat. How is it? You just got on the boat. How about attendance? Marcelino, I don't know exactly what you're talking about. I've been on my ship for 2 years and like 6 months or so. 2 years and 9 months. Something like that. Yeah. Do you know anything about Fireman Pact? Yeah, you're undesignated fireman. So basically, when you come as Fireman Pact, right, you can't be a logistics specialist, right? You're going to choose a rate within that community. I don't know exactly all the rates within that community, but for example, it's like damage controlman, it's fire controlman, it's enginemen or ETs or whatever. You're going to choose a rate within that community, right? There's a surface community, right? Undead's Pact, which consists of yeomen, PSs, LSs, CSs, right? There's like specific community. There's Air Pact, right? That you can choose only within the air department rates. So yeah. Calvin, is it easy to become an officer? No. Basically, the Navy, is it? Some people could even question: is it easy to become enlisted? In a way, no, right? Because at the end of the day, the military is looking for top of the crop, right? Top candidates. So you submit your job application, resume, whatever, to apply to become an officer. They're only going to take like the best of the best. So yeah, and depending on what field, what area you choose, like some areas are very competitive. I'm hoping that I will be able to join. It's a dream and something I want to prove to people that told me I couldn't do anything. Theo, definitely, man. Make sure you talk to your recruiter, see if you are eligible. Go to MEPS and stuff. Thank you for answering my question. It helps me a lot. You got it, Alicia. It would help me a lot if you subscribe to my other channel, Yoon Kim Project. John Lee and everybody else, if you haven't already, for those people, subscribe to the Yoon Kim Project here. I need to get to 1,000 subscribers for that channel to start paying me. I used to get paid on that channel, but the YouTube changed their policy to say a minimum of 1,000 subscribers, right? Unlike other YouTubers, I don't ask for any money. I just ask that you subscribe, and that's it. That's it. That's it. Simple. The first time you go to a boat, they tell you what to do and go. Yeah, they're going to tell you what to do, and they're going to show you around, and then they're going to say, all right, you come back right here at 0700 tomorrow morning. John, thank you for your subscription. I'm sorry you didn't know about CTI at that time. Thanks for the answer. You got it. I really would have enjoyed if I was either a CTI or MC. MC, mass communication specialist. It's exactly what I'm doing basically now, making videos and editing, and it would have been better because when you're MC, like you are taught, you go to school to learn the Adobe software and stuff. So like that's free training, free school. So like, I kind of missed out on that opportunity right there. I'd be better at editing compared to what I'm doing now using freaking Windows editing software. Marcelino, thank you for the subscription. Alicia, thank you for the support. Gonna head to bed, Theo. I want to thank you for everything. Contour to watch and Night Man home. You have a good day, man. Good day later or whatever. You got it, Theo. Hope it all works out for you, man. Let me know. Let me know how it works out. Because believe it or not, I read every single comment when it comes to my channel. I read every single comment. So like if you like give me an update, I'd be like, oh, he finally made it, or he didn't make it. Kavo Ovak, what's up? So is YouTube making it more difficult these days to be a YouTuber? Many of the YouTubers I follow have been complaining recently. For me, no. I mean, I'm just a person within their house, right? YouTube is YouTube's house, right? I'm just in their house trying to, play by their rules. If they say the next day, your channel has to have 10,000 subscribers, it's like, well, then, I have to play by the rules, right? A lot of people complain, yes, a lot of YouTubers complain, yes, but they don't understand that, YouTube is not their platform. They are guests within somebody else's house, right? So like, for example, you guys are my audience, but if you guys start complaining, I can kick you guys out. You guys are complaining in my house, right? I can just do whatever I want. I can't have my own rules. So, for me, it's just like, it's whatever, I'm just trying to play by the system. I have a Twitter, but I don't actively use it. Would you be able to change your rate to either MC or CTI later on, though? John, after I finish my contract, they will let me do that. Yes. So as of right now, like I've been in the military for 3 years. The rule is, right, 2 years. That's what the recruiters will tell you. But, you can't, right? So in my ship, LSs are undermanned, right? LSs, they can't keep them. Right? People have been dropping out like hotcakes. People have been getting kicked out, for, mentally separated because they couldn't mentally handle it, or they couldn't be physically fit enough, so they get kicked out. And so we are very undermanned, right? They're not going to let more people go. They're going to lock people in, say like, no, you can't go. So that's where I am. So I can't do anything. But after I finish my contract of 5 years, then, I'll be able to crossfade out and do something else if I choose to, but I'm not going to stay in. Heck, there's no way I want to stay in. Vincent, what's with that face? Astonished is the face. Do you any more watch videos? Gonna do any more watch videos? Oh, no. I only have like 4. Yoon Kim Project was actually a men's style channel that I used to have a long time ago. A lot of those videos are private now. But this one watch video, how to set a G-Shock hand, like it's just killing it, man. It makes me about $100 a month, so that helps me a lot. $100 a month. But with this new YouTube rule, I can't get that pay. So preferably, if you guys could subscribe, and so I can get that pay. Nelk channel is dying. Baby Pro, I don't know exactly what channel you're talking about. But man, guys, I'm tired. It's 1 a.m. here. I'm like beat, I'm probably gonna close it out here pretty soon, guys. So if you have any final questions, make sure you comment for the next contract. John, I'm not staying, man. After this, man, the Navy, I'm done. The Navy has been the most stressful thing that I've had to deal with, that I'm still dealing with, and it's not going to get any better. And I can't take it anymore. Some people get lucky, do something very simple, and they say like, "Oh man, military is so simple." And then I share my experience, and they try to compare it with their experience, but their experience was, it's basically nothing compared to what I had to go through. Join the army, Yoon. Walk in success. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't like the idea of like bullets, flying at me, or sometimes some people go 20 years without any see combat, but like the idea of it, no. Do I get BAH in boot camp while on boot camp? That would be something you would have to check with your recruiter. Maybe. I don't see why not, you know, as long as you put in the proper paperwork, but I could be wrong. But check with your recruiter. All right, guys. I'm hurting, man. I'm like mentally pretty tired and drained. Do you have a does having an AAS and bus admin help any? I don't know exactly what AAS and bus admin is, like being a school bus driver or whatever. If that's the case, no, it's not really going to help your military career. Is there a boxing program in the Navy? No. Sometimes like there could be like competitions, like friendly competitions, but that's about it. Is 19 good to join the Navy? Baby Pro, in my opinion, everybody has a certain point in their life when they make that decision to join. Everybody's maturity level is different, right? You know, some people are very mature very early on. Some people get mature very later on. I would personally say understanding the two worlds, civilian world and the military world, would be a very good thing to do. So like after you get out of high school at 18, 19 or whatever, like for me, I got out of high school at 19. And then for 2 years, I had my own business. I worked at Abercrombie and Fitch and Hollister and a watch store. And, you know, by the end of it, I only had $200. So I understood how it felt to struggle financially, right? Paying for school, car, gas, insurance, you know, cell phone and everything. And then I joined the Navy and I was like, oh man, you know, I don't need any of this. Let me restructure my finances. And I understand, you know, how it feels to struggle. So I'm going to save up a lot of money so I can set myself up for after I get out. So like my civilian experience when I joined at 21 helped me, and it's, you know, helping me now. Yeah. So, I mean, I know I kind of rambled there, but all you asked was, is 19 a good age to join the Navy? I mean, yeah, no, I think the earlier you do it, the better. Like if you do 20 years in the Navy, right? You decide to do 20 years. I personally think it's better to do 20 years as soon as possible than compared to if you do it at like 30. So for example, let's say you join at 18, right? And you do 20 years in the Navy. So you basically get out of the Navy at 38, right? That's a big difference, right? 38 compared to somebody who joins at 30 and then does 20 years, and now you get out at 50, right? 38 and 50, that's 12 years difference, right? So you, over time, when you are 38, you collect that military pay more compared to that person who retired at 50. You know what I mean? Because like, let's say you only live till 100, now you know, get paid every month for 50 years compared to getting paid every month for 62 years. So business administrations. If you have a dependent or married, yes. It will be the zip code where you're, yes. I'm getting my associates in business administration. Does that make me any more qualified, etc.? Perks. Yes, you come in as E3. You come in as E3. That's really the only perks that your business associates. Wait, actually, Cavo, yes, there is one advantage. One other advantage. So the first main advantage is when you go to boot camp, you are going to be E3, right? Most people, when they come into boot camp, they come in as E1, right? Because they don't have any prior military experiences like Sea Cadets or, you know, JR or TC, and they just join straight out of high school. They come in as E1, And then from there, it takes 9 months to go to E2, 9 months to go to E3, and 6 months to go to E4, right? So that's a lot of time that you have to wait. But if you have your associate's degree, you just come in straight as E3. And also because you have a degree, when you take advancement exams, you have 2 extra points, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot when you take your advancement exam, having 2 extra points. Hope my former ROK Army service experience would help me somehow. Rock Army service experience. I don't know what that is. Joining Navy as 32. Still never too late. There's a lot of people that I know actually that have joined the military at their 30s. There's this one guy that I work with. Like he has his, because he had like 30, almost, up to 30 years of civilian experience. And he joined the military, and he's like the most respected guy on my ship in the supply department. Oh, I guess I should have known that. Republic of Korea. Oh, that's pretty cool. So like, oh, so you already know, right? You went to Army in Korea, and then now you are crossing and joining the Navy. I don't know exactly how that would, translate, but I'm sure it does somehow. How about joining the Navy with a BA? Is there benefits? Bachelor's? Business administration? Calvin, if you have your associates, at the end of the day, if you have your associates, right, you come in as E3, and then you get 2 points on your test. If you have your college degree, I don't know if that translates into 4 points. It may. I don't really, haven't read the details in there yet, but if you have your bachelor's degree, then I personally, if I was in your position, I just go in as an officer. It's a better thing overall. But all right, guys, I am beat. I am gonna close it out here today. I'm gonna drink some coffee, spend some time with my family. They're watching some type of Korean drama. So yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me, answering questions and all that. I'll probably do another live video tomorrow on Sunday. It's not like every day I do this live video. So, take advantage of it. I'll be back twice tomorrow, hopefully, if I can squeeze the time in. And then I'm going back to Virginia, and you won't see me for a while. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great Navy Day, guys. Have a good night. Close.